Well, you know, some things are kind of funny in the gaming world, especially when it comes to the game called The Day Before. This is a video I've covered several times on the channel, but apparently it just won't die. This game is trying to be resurrected from the dead with a new statement out of FNTASTIC on Twitter saying they were the target of a hate campaign. This is absolutely absurd. Okay, before I fully get into this video, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. Anyway, The Day Before was supposed to be this ultra zombie MMO mass multiplayer online where you go around, you kill zombies, you get quests and do all these things. And the game had potential. The idea of the game had so much potential. In fact, NVIDIA started backing the game. They put out an RTX version of a trailer for the game. But inconsistencies and a lot of things kind of went awry with that, where you could see how the trailers were even copied from other trailers like Call of Duty. And that broke down very, very much. At one point, they had this developer behind the scenes video that they put up, which is now deleted. It's fully up in my video, but it got to the point where I had to question a lot of it. A lot of the video was, I believe, stock footage that they had used, and at one point they claimed that they're working around the world, outside in like Russia, with the negative 71 degrees Celsius. We just went through a polar vortex here where I live. It got down to about minus 55 degrees with wind. Nobody went outside. We stayed in our homes because that's where it was warm. You only went outside in case of like an emergency. And this is negative 71 degrees Celsius. You wouldn't even be standing there. The horses here or the donkeys here would not be standing here. They would be in a barn. Like the farmer wouldn't even let them out. That's how bloody ass cold negative 71 is. Unless you're working in the Antarctica and it's your job, you're not dealing with this in a very, very easy way. You know, there's some people that work on the rigs. They might be dealing with this, but they at some point, the machinery does break down at too much cold. Here in Alberta, we went through a power grid problem, and wind and solar was not generating because the blades break at minus 30, and the solar was, most of this was at night anyway, so you're not going to get sunshine on them anyway. It's absolutely ridiculous, some of the things that I see out there, because there's reality and then there's this. And I went through this whole video. Go take a watch of this video and you can see where the inconsistencies are. This new statement that they went and put out, they put out a statement on Twitter, then they got community noted, then they deleted the statement, then they reposted the statement, and now they've deleted the repost because it's absolutely asinine to think that these guys were the target of a hate campaign when everybody wanted this game. This was the most wish list game out there. You can't be the target of a hate campaign in this certain circumstance when everybody wants this game. It was the disappointment for the game. Much the same with what we have right now with Power World. Power World is the game that people want right now. That's what people want, and look at the numbers. Everyone has flocked to it. If this game came out in a state where the game would have done well and actually promised what they were offering, then it would have went and exploded the same way as Power World did right now. The games industry, this is plain and simple. What people want, you give them what they want, and your game is going to explode. And that is one of the lacking things that we have out there on the market right now. FNTASTIC's now deleted statement rebuffed allegations about The Day Before development. Social media post claims, in part, it was forcibly issued refunds to users who did not request them. Well, no, you got caught trying to literally scam people out of money. It was a horrific time when this game tried to launch. As reported by PC Games, the studio issued a statement in a now deleted post. They issued this statement. This is a screenshot of the statement, and this is the archive of the second statement. I don't have an archive of the first statement because nobody captured it. Nobody thought that they had to capture this because it's The Day Before, but this is an exact copy of the original statement. They had just reposted it. Recently, a lot of misinformation has emerged on the internet from supposedly anonymous sources. FNTASTIC provides an official response to these statements. And that response is this. Well, they say anonymous people allege that we have deceived players. No, very many people believe you deceived players because you offered things in a game that never came out, like the vaulting over things. You couldn't even jump over these things in post of the early access. Anonymous people allege that we deceived an investor. You guys went to NVIDIA. NVIDIA put out the RTX trailer on their channel that you can still be there. Technically, you deceived an investor in this game because you offered a trailer which was not, from everything that I saw with it, was not gameplay of the game. It was a trailer that was meant to hype up the game. Anonymous former employees tell different stories of the development. Yes, there was employees that said, no, this game is absolutely different. I actually have covered this, a Yahoo News story that came out over this, saying they had visited the FNTASTIC or Fantastic, whatever you want to call them, offices in where they were in, I believe, Singapore at the time, and they said it was nothing. There was nothing there. There was a shop that just shared space. It was a shared space area. So then it came down to what was the video that they originally did, because they shot some of it in an apartment studio. It literally everything looked staged for the things that they did shoot. Everything else that they didn't shoot looked like stock footage. We made money on the day before. Yeah, no, you didn't make money on it. Certain bloggers made money by creating false content with huge titles from the very beginning. Oh my God. Oh, who made money on it? It's the people like YouTubers. So they're blaming the YouTubers for making money for calling this thing out. Well, I'm not big into the first-person shooters and stuff like that on this channel. They are something that catches my interest every once in a while. When it comes to that type of topic, generally it doesn't do a lot for me. My best video on the day before got 602 views, which paid 96 cents. So I've made approximately $1 off this entire franchise attempt here. So I've made nothing. I've made absolutely nothing because I pay more in power to even run this channel just to make this video. It's absolutely ridiculous to think that these guys are blaming the YouTubers for their downfall. Why do they say that the release game is not the same as the trailers, and why was the game closed? We implemented everything shown in the trailers. They didn't, like I said, they didn't implement the vaulting. They didn't implement a lot of things. It is well documented what they did not add into it at early access. Obviously, you know, right below me, you can see how buggy of a mess the game was. It didn't even look like the same game. Remember the experiment where you were asked to count pink objects in a room and then recall the blue ones? You won't remember any. It's all about the focus, the negative bias instilled by certain bloggers making money on hate affected perceptions of the game. Look at the unbiased gameplay like DR.Disrespect's stream at release. Despite the initial bugs and server issues, he liked the game, which we fixed later, and the game received improved reviews over the weekend.
And it's funny, it's not like I hate the game, it's such a bad game, 5.9 out of 10. It's like, okay, cool. I get it. Where are we gonna go? Like, here's your starting point. Where are we gonna go from here?
Unfortunately, the hate campaign we had inflicted significant damage. By the way, after sales closed, many people wrote to us that bloggers had deceived them and they liked the game and they were asked for access. We also heard that the petition were created to continue development, and on the black market, the game price exceeded $200, and even some even began their own mods. The game keys that were given out ended up on eBay for like $300, which is absolutely absurd. There was no way this game was going to stick around. There was no way. I believe this game exploded in what they were offering with the game way too much more than what these developers could produce. It went way out there. They were missing deadlines. They were missing dates. Like, NVIDIA had a play date with them at the end of November, and that date came and went, or it was the start of November, one or the other, and then nothing came out of it. And I believe at that point, that's where they said, okay, We now need to move forward and do things like this, and that's where the dominoes really did start to fall. We are grateful for the senders of mails who expressed support, appealed, blah blah blah. Prop Night seems to no longer be available on Steam. FNTASTIC is defunct. They're no longer around. I'm surprised Prop Night shut down, but Prop Night has had its own buggy mess since launch. It came out, and they just have now abandoned the game. Prop Night also was amalgamation of like 2 other games where you could just hide as creatures. It was like Gary's Mod meets, what is it, Dead Before Daylight, I believe. It's absolutely absurd, ridiculous where this game is, where they are now, and coming out with a statement like this saying it was a hate campaign over things that they had promised that they never delivered on. Absolutely absurd. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm your Prod Canadian Phoenix Cindershadow. I'm signing off here. Have yourselves a great day.